bit calm as we get our first yellow of the night.
Of course, the caution comes out just as we fix the problems. But Jason Hartigan, they're going around on the back straight. Unfortunately, getting a little tap from Raymond Yeager there. Unfortunately. Yeah, so that's brought out our first caution, and these guys are going to be pretty happy about that, I think. Because they have been racing fast and furious for 62 laps here tonight.
Yeah, as we see everyone pretty much come down pit road.
Yeah, and they're going to be getting some fresh tyres on there. All 4 tyres, fuel up to the top, and race back out. And it looks like... what's happened there? It looks like Foster Meyer just lost the position there. He's just had to give way to Jason Martin. And I think Stephen Williams got out first there. I think he only took fuel because he didn't actually take any tyres. So Stephen Williams there taking a big gamble, not taking any tyres, I don't think. Because he just got into the wrong pit box. No, he just didn't stop. He got into the wrong pit box. So Stephen Williams had a pit box problem there. So he might come in next time round, which he has done. So disaster there for Williams. That really didn't go the way he wanted it to. So we'll have a bit of a catch up from what happened between our little technical issue there and our coming back live. Too much to speak of, really. But Jason Martin managed to work his way back up with his slightly fresher tyres. He just kept some fresher tyres there. Foster was running at the front pretty much the whole way round. The leaders hit a huge group of lapped cars and were taking it 3 wide for a few laps, which a few drivers were a little bit unimpressed with. Obviously, drivers don't like to go 3 wide around Bristol. It's not the easiest place to do it on. But, you know, there's room for 3 cars here, so go for it. But we had a pretty long green flag stint there, and a fair few drivers are a lap down now. So everybody from Bradley Allison down to so that's 14th onwards, are a lap down now. So quite a few cars did get lapped in that period because it was just such a long green flag, something we did not expect here tonight.
Yeah, it was good, and I think looking at that yellow, when that caution dropped, Jason might have just had the position on Edward as the caution dropped. That might be why he's back out in front of Ed here on this restart.
Yes, iRacing doing its little shuffle and working out what's what with the systems. Always fun sometimes, especially on oval racing, where it is nose to nose constantly. But it looks like it's all sorted out, so we're going to get the race basically restarted afresh here now. If we get another 62 laps of what we just had, I'm sure all these drivers will be sweating buckets and absolutely knackered by the end of this one.
We won't mind up here in the commentating booth. It'll just make it quicker and a better race.
Indeed it will. Pace car goes in. Jason Martin drops the hammer early. Gets a good restart there. Gets a good jump on Foster. Josh Micklemore's going to look down the inside. Foster's on that outside line that should be a little bit quicker. And he does indeed keep that position. Foster's regained the second place position and kept Micklemore behind him, most importantly. Somebody that's been working his way up the field, as is often the case, is Mr. Skurlock. Michael Skurlock in the 350 there, and you can just see him going down on the inside of Hamish Gallagher, going right down the inside, dropping it down there, almost getting past Micklemore as well on that pass. So really good recovery drive so far from Skurlock, who had that big incident in qualifying beforehand. He's gained a good 17 positions. Sorry, as everything stumbles through. Skurlock drops down the field a bit.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with Skurlock there. He dropped back quite a bit.
He did, yeah. I'm just going to have a look at that. I think he got a big tile slide coming out of the corner there, just underneath Micklemore. He went a bit too low, on the start-finish straight, and that cost him dearly. So he's going to have to do all that hard work again. He's just managed to pull up in front of Joshua Carroll-Walden. So Martin leads over Foster at the moment. Josh Mickelmore as well. We've got some drivers that have made some good positions tonight, and sort of regained a few spots here. Sorry, my timing screen's just playing up a little bit, so I apologise if a couple of things are wrong there. But yeah, a couple of drivers doing some good runs up to the front. So James Robbie, Neil Pearson, and Lachlan Urquio doing a great job as well, getting up there to 9th place. Michael Skurlock still sitting there in 10th as well, making up 12 positions so far.
Yeah, and we're seeing some very close driving out of these top 3 at the moment, as we see them already catching up to lap traffic.
They are, yeah, and over the broadcast there, shots just making sure everybody knew to go low there, getting straight on the radio with that one, and you could just see there Josh Mickelmore just using a little bit of a chance to grab a little bit of draft there to try and get a little bit closer to Foster. Looks like Martin's favouring that lower line at the moment. Obviously, coming up to some of the lapped cars, he might be thinking about just getting that low line, just getting settled into it a little bit, just finding his limits there, because they're going to start coming towards lapped cars once again, and it's going to start being a sort of big sort of factor of this race as it comes through.
Yeah, as we see Mickelmore now on the back of Edward here. He's been on the back of Edward here a few times since this restart, but just hasn't been able to get the job done as of yet.
No, just struggling a bit there, Mickelmore, and just running so close to the wall there too. Just millimetre perfect driving from these guys. It is just awe-inspiring to watch. Just how close they run it to the wall. And Neil Pearson, I think, having a moment with James Robbie, just up there, just pinching James Robbie and getting into Lachlan as well. Lachlan Urquio and also JCW getting involved with that as well. So a little bit of a bump further back in the field as we get onto lap 80, and we got a caution.
Oh no, here we go. Cautions, precautions, Carl.
They do, the ever telling. So Bevan Moyes was involved in that one, not the one that started it. Somebody went round in front of him, I think, or no, it was actually he actually went into the wall. Sorry. So Bevan Moyes there just running high up into the wall and then losing control of it down the start-finish straight, huge into the wall, and then going up into Matt Hunter, I think it was. I think ended up going into Matt Hunter, unfortunately, who was unfortunately placed in that incident, and just got pinched up against the wall. Doesn't look like he got too much damage from the outside, but there might be some engine damage there for sure. So not so good luck for Matt Hunter there, unfortunately.
Yeah, as we see our lucky dog going around the outside here of Bradley Ellison, so he gets his lap back thanks to the second caution.
And he'll be happy about that, and it's kind of good news there for Bradley Ellison, because with Matt Hunter getting involved in that incident, not that you ever want to see a rival involved in an incident, that's going to help his position in the chase. Also, quite a strong showing from him tonight as well, because we've seen Norman Clark's drop down a little bit because of a couple of little things that have happened to him. He got caught up in a couple of little incidents, unfortunately. So he's going to finish ahead of a couple of his rivals, and getting back on the lead lap could be really important here for Bradley Ellison. That could be a real big boon to his race.
Yeah, any points for that chase is good news for him. It's always unfortunate though when one of your competitors is unfortunately having troubles or has been taken out due to circumstances out of their control, and that's always a bittersweet at the end of the day.
It is. That is racing, though, isn't it? It's sometimes better to be lucky than good, and it's even better if you're good and lucky, which tends to be the case of the guys up the front. But it is that thing of you do have bad nights and you do have good nights, and they usually balance each other out unless you're having a particularly bad run, which we have seen before. You tend to have a few races where everything possible happens and everything bad happens as well to you, and you just feel like nothing can go your way. But when it does start to work for you, then it all gets back on track.
Yeah, and it only takes the race at Monza on the weekend to see even the best of the best have bad nights.
That's it. Hopefully nobody will get a pit lane penalty tonight. They'll be able to see a pit lane is closed. Not the hardest thing to spot in the world, apparently, but some people find it so. But back under the caution, pace car lights will be going out relatively shortly, as they do as I speak. So we'll be going back to green flag racing now. Of course, everybody's staying out there. A few cars did pit under that caution. So Bradley Allison did actually pit under that caution, as well as Lachlan Urquhart as well. So those two could be ones to watch on this restart, because they're going to have some nice fresh tyres, despite it not being too long since the last pit stop. But of course they are limited to 4 sets tonight, so they've already used 2 sets up now, whereas everybody else has used 1. So still a long way to go here. On lap 86 of 200. Pace car comes in. Jason Martin drops the loud pedal. Away he goes. Good restart for Martin, but Micklemore was right on top of him, and he's going to get underneath Foster this time round. Looks like he's going to try and make that position stick. Foster's going to be on the outside, going to get a better run off the corner, and he does manage to get back in front of Micklemore once more. Foster just holding that high line, doing a really good job on those restarts.
Yeah, he's had really good restarts here tonight out of the guys, and they always seem to have really strong restarts.
They do indeed. They are very good at restarting. Very, very canny lot, those guys. And obviously, when they're both on the low line together, you know, it gives them the opportunity to get a good run up. A good run up, speaking, is Danny G at the moment. He's having a good run back up the field now, despite the car looking a bit like a Destruction Derby car at the moment from the front. He's got some relatively good pace low down, so he's sort of holding his position at the moment next to Skerlock. He's trying his best to get up those positions, but the longer you stay down there, the quicker your tyres start to heat up, and then you just lose a little bit of that pace. The ones I'm interested in looking at and keeping an eye on at the moment are Bradley Allison and Lachlan Urquhart, because I reckon they're going to be the ones to watch, as we see Urquhart coming down underneath Danny G at the moment, and he's flying up there as we speak, and he's on those fresh tyres, remember.
Yeah, I was looking at Bradley's car, we were talking about him before, and he has got some damage to the rear and the nose of that car, so hopefully that doesn't hinder him too much here as he goes under one car. There, he seems to have a decent amount of pace here since the restart, so doesn't seem to be hurting his drive too much at this point in time.
No, that's it. Those fresh tyres do tend to help a little bit, and it can make up the deficit of a bit more damage on the car as well. It sometimes can be a bit of an equaliser for those first few laps. Quite a few cars now with battle scars, though. I don't think we've got a single car in the field that is completely clear of damage. I think everybody's got a little bit of a nick taken out of them somewhere along the line. But a few cars have got some more damage than others, of course. And one thing you've got to watch out for in a race like this is if you have got frontal damage, especially if the radiator's a little bit damaged, running so close to people, which you tend to do here at Bristol, you can start to overheat the car. So you've got to watch out for that sometimes too.
Yes. Quite easy to do, overheat the car here.
They are warm beasts, and when you're running in the exhaust fumes of another car, it's a hot engine going into a hot engine, and then the car behind you gets even hotter air coming into their engine, and that's never fun. Cars do not like hot air when it's coming into their cooling parts. But at the moment, it's working well for Jason Martin, who's leading out front. Again, donkey performance from Martin. We saw him drop off quite early in the race, but he managed to pull back really well in that sort of latter edge of that first stint. Obviously saving his tyres a little bit and just getting back into the focus of the race too. Sometimes you just need to recenter, realign yourself with the track and get back into your rhythm to start getting those lap times back. And it seems Martin has definitely got that going for him now.
Yes, we're halfway home. It's
We
been
are
a
indeed.
quick race up until this point. Hopefully the pace continues to keep it interesting for not us, but also viewers at home.
Oh, absolutely. It's been a relatively quick one. We're only on 34 minutes at the moment, and that's with 2 cautions. So hopefully we can get some good long green flags here. Being very good for the drivers out there. Some really good avoiding skills, and also just recovery skills as well. Just getting the car spinning a little bit and managing to keep it going in a straight line, or getting it into a position where it's not going to cause a caution to come out. We've seen a few cars go around and not bring the yellow out tonight, which is what we want to see, because we want to see some good green flag racing here. And so far, we've got quite a few laps of it. So people are starting to settle into their positions now. And just looking back towards the field a little bit, not too much position, not too much pace gained for OPO and Allison with those fresh tyres. So not storming up the field too much yet. Still sitting in 11th and 13th place, although I think Allison just took 12th place from Riley Curtis. So coming up the field, so a few cars to look out for at the moment. Michael Skurlock is still on a charge. He's back up there into 7th place, 15 positions gained tonight. Neil Pearson in front of him doing a great job as well. We've seen it a few times for Pearson, having a good run towards the latter end of this series, and getting up to those higher positions in the DPR car along with his teammate Stephen Williams. So a good end of the season for DPR so far. They're doing a great job up there. But yeah, seeing a fair few cars managing to climb up those positions and get some good places earned for themselves.
Yeah, and for these chase drivers, it will be good to try and get at the front and get some points. Do we have an identifying paint strip on the chase cars here this year, Carl?
We don't know. We don't have a identifier mark on them, although that is something that we probably should look at. But it's something we probably should have looked at earlier. But currently, it's more just remembering who they are. Of course, this year with the chase, we're not doing the drop rounds, the drop system that we had last season as well. So it is a pure championship scramble to the end this year. So all those points are important. So every race counts, and we're not going to have 3 left at the end of it. All 10 drivers could be into a position where they can win it at the end, depending on how the rest of these races fall, of course. But at the moment, leading the chase and leading this race is Jason Martin.
They have a wreck across the front stretch. Sorry, Carl. I'm not sure if that's going to cause a caution. That was Lachlan.
And that was Lachlan Okio there going around, unfortunately. And yep, the caution flag is out. And looks like him and Danny G had a coming together there. Looks like Lockie just couldn't get enough steering to turn the car down there. Danny G couldn't get any further up on the track there. Those two have just come together, and a little bit of impact, and around he goes. Unfortunate for Lachlan Urquhart there, having a good run up until that point.
Yeah, he was having a good run. I was just watching Allison catch from behind, and I saw that all unfold, so I apologise for jumping in front of you there.
Right, that's all good. So they're going to come in now, change those tyres, and this could be the point for people like Allison and a couple of people actually, because Bradley Allison, of course, did stop on that last caution. So sort of mid-stint at the moment. So he's going to be able to stay out there and get a lap led at least and get a bonus point. Neil Pearson as well looks like he's staying out there too. So I wonder if Pearson's going to come in this time round, which he does indeed. And Allison's going to stay out there. Yes, he is. So Allison is throwing the dice at the moment, doing a gamble here tonight, and he's going to stay out there.
Yeah, he's the only car besides Tristan, which I believe is a lap or 2 down.
Yeah, Tristan Koch is currently 7 laps down, unfortunately, due to earlier incident there. So he's a bit out of position, out of running as well. But just getting back onto the track to get the experience in and just get the car going still. We've got a few cars that I think are pretty much done for the night, unfortunately, as well. So it looks like Matt Hunter might be one of those drivers there that's unable to continue tonight. So a big name from the chase, Matt Hunter, down there in 22nd position. Looks like he's out of the race, unfortunately.
Yeah, quite an unfortunate race there for Matt, especially early on in this chase.
Yes, he did get a fairly good finish at the Daytona race. I'm trying to remember exactly which race it was now, and my brain is going Talladega, and I'm going and getting it wrong, no doubt. But the first round of the chase, he actually got a really good position towards the end. So he sort of, it's one of those things, swings and roundabouts, unfortunately, and anything can still happen. So there's still things that can happen in this race.
Yes, there's lots of things. It's not over yet.
It's not over until that car crosses the line. So Bradley Allison is going to try his best to keep that position, but I don't think we're going to see him fighting too hard out there, in all honesty. He knows he's on quite old tyres, so he's going to launch the car when the pace car comes in, see if he can get a good getaway, and maybe get himself into a fairly good position. But I feel like Jason Martin will probably have him into the first corner.
More than likely. As we're about to go green and Ellison puts the hammer down, but instantly just falls backwards.
Looks like he missed a gear shift there, actually. Yeah. Just watching that, the car lurched backwards, and that really cost Edward Foster. So yeah, Allison missing a shift there, and that cost Foster dearly there, stuck behind Allison, and that's put him into a position where he doesn't want to be, and he's just scraped the wall as well as he was coming past there too. So not the way Foster would want to have it. Jason Hartigan's managed to get up there to third place now, with Josh Micklemore in second, who's just so close to the wall there. And Jason Martin leads as they come up to JCW, who's just having to come in because of a black flag penalty, unfortunately for him. So very close to the wall there for Josh Micklemore. That was so inch perfect there. He really is running it so close to the wall tonight.
Yeah, some top-notch driving out of all these drivers out here tonight to run it right up against that wall. It's not an easy thing to do, and they make it look easy out here.
They do. It's a very tricky thing to do, and it's so hard judging the car as well. You do get better at it as you go along, but it is not an easy thing to do at all. As just a little bit further back, Neil Pearson, losing the back end of his car, managed to keep it going, but he's going to get swallowed up by James Robbie and Michael Skurlock very shortly. But up the front is where the battle is, as we see Jason Hartigan going down underneath Josh Micklemore. Edward Foster's looking in the middle there, thinking about poking his nose in there for good measure. He's going to sit there on the high line at the moment. As you see, Micklemore just going a little bit wide, his tail just scraping against the wall, and that's going to cost him a couple of milliseconds, and it could be the chance for Hartigan to get past onto the front straight. They're side by side as they come down to the first corner. That low line seems to be working quite well for Hartigan at the moment. He's got some good speed off the exit, but Micklemore is still holding position. He's doing a great job up there on the high line. They're pretty much neck and neck at the moment, running so close next to each other as well. Foster just sitting in there behind Micklemore too, just putting in that pressure and waiting for Hartigan to make a slight mistake. Looks like Hartigan's just going to breathe off for a second. Might have got his tyres a little bit too cooked there. He's just going to drop back behind Foster, slot in there for a bit, and then have another attack a little bit later on.
Yeah, as we see the Mitch Motorsport guys followed by the JP Sim Machine guys at the moment. two very dominant teams in this ANZCAR league.
Very much so. It's two very strong teams with groups of very strong drivers in them, sort of the mega teams, if you will. But as I said, there are a few other teams doing well out there tonight as well, and that's DPR doing a great job with Neil Pearson, Stephen Williams up in 7th and 8th, and they've been really running it to the top teams this season, the sort of the big teams, I should say, not top teams. But to those teams with multi-drivers at the moment, so those much bigger teams, just the two cars out there tonight for those guys. And they are doing a great job, again, of just keeping up there in that top 10 position and keeping the pressure on those guys.
Yeah, doing a really good job. Just, like you said, keeping the pressure on those guys.
And of course, Pace Syndicate as well, who fresh to the oval scene for closed surface oval racing, really. Being brought in with Michael Skurlock, and a few people have come over with him, which is great to see. And they're doing well as well, with Michael Skurlock 9th and James Robbie in 10th place. So, again, a few teams are starting to put their challenges in and starting to get up there in position. So, it's not all going the way of the big teams at the moment. They're doing good to sort of put the pressure on them, but they just need a couple more attempts to get up there to the top, as we see Micklemore just getting his tail out again into that wall and losing a bit of time to Foster. This could be Foster's time to pounce.
Yeah, as we also see Riley Curtis getting a good drive on Roby here, and then Roby just got sideways coming out of that corner there.
Yeah, the A1 Sim Sports team as well, with Riley Curtis doing a good job up there too. Again, another multi-car team who have been having a great job this season and getting their driver Matt Hunter into this into the chase as well, which is great to see. And I think Bradley Allison's joined them now as well. So from memory, which is probably wrong, but I'm sure I'll be told the correct thing at some stage, as we hit lap 140 now. So we've only got 60 laps to go here tonight. It's gone so fast.
It's been a very good car. I was worried when you started saying stuff just after the 100 laps there about it being short. I was like, shh, Carl, or else we'll be here for the next hour and a half.
That's it. If I don't curse it at least once, I've not done my job. But the drivers are managing to get past the curse as well, so they're doing extra good driving out there tonight. Of course, the race was extended from 150 to 200, which big moment there for Josh Micklemore up into the wall. That's going to cost him some time, surely, and also put a bit of damage on that right front. He went quite heavy up there into that wall. This could be Foster's chance to start making some pace on Micklemore.
As he's back up in that wall again through the corner.
He's taking the old Forza and I've forgotten the name of it now. Gran Turismo, that's it. The old Gran Turismo lines. Driving up against the wall and getting around that way. It looks like those guys are struggling though. Mitch Motorsport have struggled tonight with the wall. All their cars have been just nibbling at it. We've seen it with Danny G. We've seen it with Jason Martin as well. And Josh Micklemore, uncharacteristically from Micklemore, he's usually extremely good at avoiding incident points. Last season, he made it almost halfway through the season without getting a single incident point.
Yeah, he's always a good, clean driver. And it's interesting to see this big speed difference there, catching Riley Curtis out going under Bradley Ellison at the moment. Nelly went to the back of Bradley due to the speed difference. Those tyres must just be starting to fall off now for Bradley.
Yeah, I think Bradley Allison's going to be regretting not pitting relatively soon, because he is just dropping time. He's hemorrhaging time. He's already gone a lap down. So it's not paid off for him, that little bit of a gamble there. But that's the thing with the gamble, they don't always pay off. As we see, Neil Pearson actually has pitted. So Neil Pearson's the first driver to pit for fresh tyres on this green flag stint. So interesting there. So we've seen a driver come in for some fresh rubber, and we'll see how that goes as well. He's come out just in front of his teammate Phil Otto, again in the DPR Simrigs.com team. Great information there Pearson's given us, because I think drivers are really struggling now, and I think we might see a round of green flag stops if, touch wood, if we don't get a caution.
Yes, be very careful what you say, Carl.
It's one thing I've learned about commentating is you're always going to put the commentator's curse onto somebody. Jason, there we go. I've cursed myself now by forgetting names as well. I was going to say Josh Martin there. Jason Martin and Josh Micklemore are both pulling out a relatively good gap now as well. Jason Martin has got some seriously good pace. He's almost a second ahead of his teammate, 2 seconds ahead of Foster as well back there with Jason Hartigan, who is now battling with Danny G and Hamish Gallagher. Big moment. Jason Hartigan just getting caught up there with, I think, Tristan Koch as they go mid-corner. It looks like Hartigan just lost the car a little bit. He just ran wide there, back end stepping out on him, and he managed to keep it going straight. He's managed to keep the car going and keep it ahead of Skurlock, but that's cost him a fair few positions.
Yeah, and we're starting to see too some of these cars like Neil that they've gone in for tyres, so now they're faster than the leaders and they're catching them and passing them, which is causing even more congestion in lap traffic at this point in time.
It is indeed, and it can be a bit disheartening now, because you know that the undercut is made, and you sort of think, well, I've got to stay out here now, just in case that caution comes. And of course, when you've got cars on fresh tyres, when you've got cars that are a lap down that are trying to unlap themselves, there is of course more chance for a caution to come out as they go 3 wide for a moment down the back straight, as we see Neil Pearson flying his way up the field. He's going to come past Jason Martin at an enormous rate of knots any moment now. He goes underneath Martin and just sieves his way through there like a hot knife through butter. But this is where you can see those cautions come out, because those cars on fresher tyres can sometimes get tangled up with the leader as they're trying to overtake him. And of course, the trickiest part is when you're sort of caught down low and there's a car on fresh tyres above you, sometimes your tyres just can't hold that low line and you just drift up without any choice of your own.
Yeah, and it's amplified even worse on these short tracks, as we see Edward fighting his way through more lap traffic at this point in time.
Yeah, he's just getting past Schroeder there in the A1 sports car, and again you can just see Foster struggling there to get past, because he's going down on the low line, which is a bit of a slower line anyway, and Schroeder's not putting up too much fight. You also got Bradley Allison out there as well, so Bradley Allison is, whereabouts is he on my timing chart? 16th. Yeah, so I think he's coming for fresh tyres though, so he has come in for fresh tyres now. So he's now on those fresh tyres. So he's going to want to try and work his way up there. He's not going to want to see these positions being lost too quickly. But with all this fighting and getting through those lapped cars, this has given Martin and Micklemore a huge gap. They're almost 5 seconds ahead of Edward Foster now. They are absolutely clear of them, because they sort of managed to avoid all of those cars coming out of their pits, of the pit lane, and all of those lapped cars. They've just had some beautiful clear air to run in, and have just made their way through and just built up such a great lead now.
Yeah, really good driving by those guys, and just unfortunate timing more so for Edward there to get caught up in all those cars.
That's it. It's you know, it's all you can say is it's unfortunate. It's just a pure luck thing with that. As we see, I think Josh Micklemore just with Raymond Yeager there as well. Raymond Yeager still out on those older tyres. But I imagine the leaders are going to have to think about pitting some stage soon, because for one, their tyres must be absolutely falling apart out there. And we have seen in recent events quite a few punctures as those tyres drop down to the dreaded 0-0-0. and it is a real risk now of tyres popping on you.
Yeah, it is, and I'm sure those drivers will be keeping a close eye on it, but it would be hard call depending on how well those tyres are holding for those front leaders, because we're getting close to 25 to go, which is not that long a distance to make back up positions in the field.
No, that's it, and it's not a long time here at Bristol. I mean, we're doing about 15-second laps, 14-second laps here, so it's going to breeze by quickly, but a puncture could be the real end of you. So you've got to be careful. You've got to hope that that doesn't happen. Of course, pace. If the caution comes out as well, that can really affect how things. Sorry, excuse me. That can really affect how things go, and could change the outcome of this race too. As we see them going 3 wide down the back straight with Jason Martin just getting past a couple of lap cars of Norman Clark there and Adam Rosell, I think. Yes, Adam Rosell. So yeah, just it's just so tricky to know what to do, and obviously if the tyre bursts, that could be a real unfortunate thing depending on whereabouts you are on the track.
Yeah, that could be it for your race.
We have seen a few drivers have it on the last lap and manage to salvage a decent result from it. Micklemore up into the wall again. Big hit from Josh Micklemore there. So just a lot of battle damage on that car. Really struggling at the moment, Micklemore. So we'd love to see some on board of his car at the moment, because it looks like he is really, really struggling with that.
Which brings up the big question, will he bring it down pit road?
Don't know. I mean, you'd like to think that he might be thinking about it, because he seems to be really struggling for grip, but he's still got some pace in there. He's a bit slower than his teammate, but he is going into that wall quite a few times. So he is really struggling out there, and you can just see that car is just not wanting to turn. It's not wanting to bite into that corner. And especially when he gets behind somebody, he loses so much front end, again up into the wall, as he's just getting past Clark there. Not getting past Norman Clark there, because he just went up into the wall. And the trouble is now is when you're actually passing somebody, you've got to be so careful, because you lose that front end grip, you go up into the wall, and then you've got the chance of going into them as well.
Yeah, we've seen it happen at Bristol before, in real life as well as here in the sim.
Yes, in full metal racing as well as sim racing. It's Bristol is always a tricky track, and it's a track that is it's one heck of a spectacle. As I say, it is that the modern day Colosseum. Really, it is just an amazing place to watch still, because it is this fantastic looking place, especially under the night lights. Because just see Bradley Allison there just flying past Jason Martin now, and he's just on those fresh tyres absolutely flying along. Neil Pearson is catching up as well. He's almost got his lap back. So this is a big thing for Neil Pearson, because if he can get his lap back, he could be into some good positioning here. But we've only got 18 laps to go now, so not far to go still. But you've got to wonder if these guys are going to make it, because they really are struggling on those tyres.
Yeah, especially Josh seems to be struggling the worst out of these top 3 drivers from what I've been seeing. He just seems not to be getting that turn of the car that we like to see.
And caution, we've got a caution. Danny G, unfortunately, with that one. Danny G has gone around with Raymond Yeager, and it's like Danny G's just underneath and just caught the back end of Raymond Yeager there. Raymond Yeager was just caught out by Hamish Gallagher as well, so just coming down a little bit of one of those racing incidents there. But this is going to be this is going to be what all of those drivers wanted. Chance to change those tyres. So we're going to see all those leaders coming into pit lane.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Allison's down a few laps, but he did just pit, so he will have the advantage over Phil, although here, but unfortunately, he's 4 laps down at this stage.
Yeah, he's 4 laps down, and it's kind of broken off some of them. Michael Skurlock there gaining a lot of time. I think, let's just see what he did. I'm going to have a little bit of a look back. He's only taken left side tyres, so Skurlock rolling the dice and just shaking 2 tyres. So we'll see how that goes for him, because that is a big risk and gamble, depending on how those tyres are doing. But that's given him track position.
A big risk depending on how those tyres are worn, and with a different wear and heat in left to right, it can always be interesting.
Yeah, it is a very weird sensation driving on a set of fresh tyres and a set of used tyres on the same car. Of course, it was common practice back in the olden days in most motorsport series, but we don't see it in really any other series than sort of sports car and sort of the NASCAR sort of series, the stock car series, where they do only just change one set of side of tyres or one sort of specific tyre or things like that. So something you don't see too much in other series, but it is a very different skill you need to drive on those, because that first lap or two is so tricky because they're from different heat cycles, they have different temperatures in them, and it can really throw you off. It takes you a little bit of time just to get bedded in almost, just to get settled on those tyres.
Yeah, we saw in real life at Townsville the other week the supercars doing 3 tyre stops, which was again something a bit different, and some of the drivers did struggle with the temperature difference and the wear difference.
Yeah, it can really depend on those wear factors, and that can be something that it can almost help you sometimes, because you sort of have a slightly looser side to the car, and it can help turn in sometimes. It's just a very strange sensation though, and some drivers are better at it than others for sure, and it is a very different skill you need to learn to be able to actually run those tires. Run tires that are different strategies and different temperatures, because yeah, that really does make things very, very difficult.
Yeah, and talking about the real world equivalent, I'm not sure if you've seen the news, the big news from Jimmy Johnson, but I believe he will be racing IndyCar next year and onwards.
He will be, and we are green away, and Jason Martin gets a great launch there. Josh Micklemore's gone up high. We've seen Skurlock go down low. Foster's going to try and keep that high line. He's going to want to try and keep up with Josh Micklemore this time, not let him escape. And it looks like he's going to go for the quick inside move on Micklemore. He's going to try and make this one stick. A bit of a lunge there. He's got okay drive, but not what he needs. He needs to get a little bit better drive off that corner. He needs Micklemore just to go up a little bit higher and tag that wall to make it work. And he's going to have to drop back into line for a moment.
Yeah, but he's lucky at this stage. He's got his teammate there in Jason behind him, so hopefully that will help to some degree.
Hopefully it will help him a bit, and Michael Skurlock just hemorrhaging time at the moment. Oh, Skurlock's got caught out! Oh, big moment for Skurlock down the field. Adam Rosell just getting caught by Skurlock there, side by side. They've remained green, but that's cost Skurlock a heap of time, dropped him way back down the grid. But yeah, that was a big moment for Skurlock there. But up front, you've got the battle starting up. We're on lap 194 now. We're coming up close to the end of this race. It's going to be lap 195. 5 to go very shortly. It's Martin, Micklemore, Foster, Hartigan, Gallagher, and Skurlock's gone round. Skurlock has gone round, unfortunately. Skurlock's gone. He's just lost it up into one of the DPR cars, number 9 of Neil Pearson. He just got so loose off the exit. Obviously, that gamble of just 2 tyres did not work. Pearson got loose there. Pearson got into the wall. But just tagged him, spun him around, and that is not what Skurlock would have wanted, not what Pearson would have wanted either.
Definitely
So-
not the way you want your night to end, especially this close to the finish.
That's it, almost home, and I think Pearson has unfortunately hit the incident point limit. So I think he's unfortunately got a DNF on that one because he got zapped to the pit lane, and I think he might be out of this race, unfortunately. So, shame for Neil Pearson. He managed to get back up onto the lead lap and was running well, but just an easy mistake to make.
Are we going to see a green-white checker deal? Will we get back on the way before?
We should have a green-white checker, I think. I think. I'm just trying to work out. Again, I'm probably wrong. Guaranteed it will be something else. But hopefully we'll get at least 1 or 2 more laps of racing, because that's what these guys are going to want to see, is just have that last moment dash, and we're going to see the brave pills being swallowed, I think, for this final restart of the night, and for the finish of this race. Of course,
sorry, Carl, you go.
Sorry, John, I was just going to say, yeah, quite a bit of news on open wheeler fronts, of course. Jimmy Johnson going to IndyCar. Got Sebastian Vettel heading off to Aston Martin next season as well. So lots of changes in the open wheeler fronts. So that's going to be interesting to see, especially with Johnson going to IndyCar. It's going to be a fascinating watch to see how he adapts to those vehicles.
Yeah, I haven't been keeping up with the news too much, but I opened up, I think it was today or yesterday, my Facebook and saw that, and I was like, oh, okay, I didn't expect that, but it'll be interesting to see how he goes, and it'll be interesting to see how Aston Martin goes coming into Formula One.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting year next year. It's been a strange one for motorsport this year, for sure, but we've had some fascinating races and some extremely tight calendars as well for the full metal racing. As we click over to lap 199, but next year should be interesting. So we're going to get a green-white checker this time round. So pace car's going to come in this lap, and this is going to give Jason Martin the chance to go.
Ooh, as we see a bit of a bump there in the top row.
A few drivers just having iRacing issues of just not being in the right lane at the right time. Pace cars come in. When's Jason Martin going to drop the pedal? He does it now. He gets a good restart there. Jason Martin gets away well. Same for Josh Mickelmore. Josh Mickelmore's going to be on that high line, which we've seen has better pull off the corner. Will he be able to get past his teammate? Looks like he might do it. Josh Mickelmore getting on the outside of his teammate, staying up on that high line for the moment. Edward Foster looking racy as well. As we hit the white flag, the Hobart Racing Solutions white flag lap to go. Mickelmore into the wall slightly, but he's managed to push himself down in front of Martin. Martin's racing with Foster now. Will Martin be able to get better drive off the corner? Looks like Josh Mickelmore might get this one done. Will Foster be able to get second? Foster crosses the line behind Martin. So
second for
so
Foster.
Close there. So Foster got second there at the end. A brilliant finish there. That was dead neck and neck. I had to wait for my timing screen to update there. Josh Mickelmore getting a brilliant restart there for that run, taking Jason Martin. Martin dropping 3 positions down to 3rd. Jason Hartigan managing to finish 4th tonight. Good position for himself. Hamish Gallagher there in 5th. Stephen Williams up in 6th as well. So we have got a full field of chase drivers in the top 6 positions. Riley Curtis in 7th, Danny G 8th in the end, with a rather damaged car, unfortunately. James Robbie there in 9th, and 10th was Raymond Yeager. That was one heck of a finish, Jono.
Yeah, it definitely was. I think Jason very much helped Edward there on the outside. It always helps to have your teammates around you.
Yeah, teammates do help you quite a lot sometimes. It doesn't get much closer than that, though, does it? It was barely anything between them, a millionth of a second almost. It was just absolutely nothing there between those two guys on that finish line. He got a good bump draft from his teammate, so that will have helped him as well. And being on that outside line, we've seen all night, really helping out too. What an absolute great finish there. And the guy that looked to be struggling most all night, Josh Mickelmore, managing to take a brilliant victory as well.
Yeah, we were saying, yeah, he looked like he was struggling earlier. Once he got those new tyres on the car, he was away, and he did great on that restart there. Him and Jason must have been on the comms just to time that correctly, and they both got away very well there.
Yeah, fantastic restart, and we've seen that with Mitch Motorsport every time. But we also know that Mitch Motorsport do love to race each other as well. So, you know, they go as hard as they can with each other, and they've shown it tonight. Josh Mickelmore getting that place, getting that victory at the end. Jason Martin doing a great lead of that race, leading so many of those laps, but brilliant finish there. And a relatively quick race as well, that one. We went by time quite quickly in that one. So what we'll do is we'll grab a third place man down, Jason Martin, if we can find him in our little area. Just wait for everybody to start popping into the green room. This is always the fun bit, the waiting moments. But yeah, it was one heck of a finish, Jono.
Definitely was. I haven't been able to see a ANZCAR race in a while, unfortunately, due to other commitments, but it was good to get back in the booth, and it was definitely a race to watch.
It was nice to have you back up here as well. It's been a while, as I say. It's nice to have you back, and good to see you. So we'll grab down Jason Martin and have a quick chat to him. So we've got our third place man for the Mitch Motorsport team. Could have been first place there. Very close at the end. Jason Martin, how are you going?
Oh, good, mate. That was tough work. That was a hard race.
It looked it. Obviously, the first thing I want to ask you really is the early stages of that race. It looked like you had a bit of damage first of all, and lost quite a bit of pace.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on the short run. I just had no speed at all, and I was struggling to keep in front, so I just tried to let people by, and then as the race wore on, I started to gain the spots back. But yeah, on the short run, I was absolutely terrible.
Well, lucky for you, we had a long green flag period at that beginning. 62 laps, I think it was, which I don't think many of us were calling, in all honesty. So that must have been a bit of a godsend for you.
It certainly helped me, and then on the long run, I was looking good again. But yeah, that short run at the end, I didn't want to see that.
I can imagine. Obviously, got very much swarmed there at the end. It was neck and neck there as well. Such close racing out there tonight. Brilliant P3, but as I said, so close to first place there. Were you and your teammate Josh Mickelmore having a chat on the comms on that restart, or were you just going all out, just racing each other then?
Yeah, we were sort of racing. He was thinking about letting me go, but I said, "Nah, mate, go for it." I don't know if he wanted to go for it or not, but he did. But yeah, that was good fun, though.
Well, glad you did there. It's nice to see it, and we always love to see that racing towards the end. And, well, it's worked out well for you again. Obviously, you came into this round leading the chase, and this isn't going to hurt your position too much in third place. It's looking good so far for these final few races.
Yeah, I'll definitely be happy with a third at Bristol. One of the hardest tracks to survive on, so to get a top 3, that's bloody good.
Yeah, and you did a fantastic job out there tonight. I think you had the cleanest looking car by the end of it, which says a lot about some of the other cars involved tonight.
Surprising after I hit the ball probably in the first, second or third lap.
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of paint left out on the walls tonight. We can probably paint a brand new car with the amount left out there. But before we let you go, of course, anyone you'd like to give a shout out to tonight?
Well done, Josh, on the win. Great win. BK Designs for the cars. JP Simshed for the broadcast. And, of course, ANZCAR for the league.
No worries. Thank you so much, Jason. And I'm sure we'll catch you in the booth again in the next couple of races. What a fantastic race. Congratulations on the third, and we'll see you again soon.
Cheers, mate. That was fun.
Jason Martin there for the Mitch Motorsport team in the top 3 again. A fantastic drive by him. So next up, we'll grab our second place man, Mr. Edward Foster of the JP Simshed team. And here we go. Edward Foster, congratulations on that P2 finish.
Yeah, it was a bit. It was an intense all race round, actually. I was going to say it's an intense finish, and it was. But yeah, certainly towards the end, it was also pretty full on. So yeah, real close. I guess typical sort of Bristol race, really.
That's it. You can't really get much closer at the finish than you guys did. You were pretty much nose to nose there at the end. As you said, pretty intense race. Like a lot of action going on all through the race there tonight. It looks like a real tough one to drive.
Yeah, look, it was. It's just a tricky track because you only get about. I've never actually timed it, but it's something like 2 to 3 seconds in between turns. So you're kind of running into a turn or something every 3 seconds or so. So it's pretty intense from that point of view, and especially just the way this the track works at the moment. Everyone's fighting for that top line. You can kind of get some passing done on fresh tyres down the bottom, but literally after a couple of laps, it's not an option anymore. And everyone's just fighting for that top. So if you can get sort of an inch of overlap against somebody on the top line, then you can generally get that pass done, which is sort of what happened there at the end. There are a few times sort of I was trying to lap cars down the bottom and you'd catch these big sort of packs of cars that were all sort of having their own private battle, which made a bit of an effort to get through. But, that's Bristol, that's short track racing. I love short track racing. And, yeah, it's stressy at the time, but you look back on it, you're like, yeah, it was okay. It was good fun.
Yeah, well, going to talk back a little bit about the first green flag stint we had when you did catch that massive pack of cars while you were in the lead, weren't you, for a bit there? We unfortunately lost some of the stream there, but just from your perspective, it looked a bit dicey out there.
Yeah, look, it always is. Like, if you're going to... Short tracks in general are always a little bit, as you say, dicey. But the speed that you carry around Bristol, it's like double the pace that you carry around Martinsville almost. And, yeah, it's just, it's full on from start to finish. Anytime you're side by side with somebody, you're kind of wincing a little bit. And certainly when you're trying to fight your way through traffic, of course, that they're normally quite courteous to us. We talk on the radio and things like that, but they're having their own private battle as well. So, you kind of got to understand that they're not going to want to give up that track position either. So you've just got to... It's just a patience thing, as hard as it is to do. You've just got to be a little bit patient and try and get through. And fortunately, we didn't make any contact with any of them. I think I only made contact with one car all night, and I think probably everyone saw that. So there's not much else to say really. But it was intense, fast, close, everything you expect from Bristol.
No, it was a fantastic job, and again, a good race for team as well, with Jason Hodgkin finishing up there in 4th position. Obviously, been good season for you guys so far.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's almost easy to forget so far that we are a brand new team because I don't know how many wins we've had, but it's certainly more than I expected us to get. It's in the 20s across all the various seasons. And we've had a good few in the Cup here as well. I think about 5 wins all up in the Cup or something like that. Plus, we've got the Thunder Championship with Jason, the Grand National Championship with me, the Daytona 500. It's been a really, really good year. And probably when you're sort of fighting for points in a chase and trying to do the absolute best you can there for your final finishing position, you kind of lose sight of that a little bit. But I think when we get to the end of the year and sort of look back at what we've achieved this year as a start-up new team, we're going to be very, very happy with it. We're all going to kick back with a few drinks and probably reminisce over some of the stories of the year, I think. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm sure that will be the case, and I wanted to bring that up. Congratulations on the Grand National Championship, taking that one out. Brilliant job in that season. So before I let you go, the usual shout-outs and things like that for you.
Yeah, definitely. So, of course, it's always the sponsors, isn't it? They do such a great job for us. Of course, Goodyear Auto Care Warana, which have got their colours all over my car, and had a slight update this round, which really, really looks nice, the way the metallic colours all blend with each other. So, looks absolutely fantastic. And of course, we've got Abruzzi Racewear and Cars for Hope that are doing a lot of work at the moment. So look into those guys, great non-for-profit organisation. We've got Dragon RC on the cars. You'll notice that some of the cars changed for this round as well. So we've got Dragon RC one of the car's nationwide tracking systems, of course. And of course, you guys at SimShed Broadcasting for bringing it all to us. And great to see you back too, Jono.
Thank you, Edward. Good to see you back up winning again.
Close, not quite, but close.
Yeah.
I'll try next time.
Close enough.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Congratulations, Edward Foster. We will see you, I'm sure, towards the end of the season at another time. Until then, have a good night.
Thank you very much. It's getting intense now, boys. I'll try to get back here if I can.
See you again.
See ya.
Edward Foster there for JP Simshed. And we will grab up our winner, hopefully, Mr. Josh Micklemore now. Grab up the right one. There we go, and there we go. Josh Micklemore for Mitch Motorsport. Congratulations on that very, very close victory.
Hey, Cal. Yeah, cheers, man. Cheers. It was a interesting race at the end there.
Yeah, it looked like you were struggling a lot out there tonight, and quite a few clips into the wall.
No, that was an intentional thing. Sort of get the car rotated in the center, so it actually helps, believe it or not.
So it was the old Gran Turismo / early Forza technique. I did mention that during the broadcast, so I'm glad I was right. No, so obviously it looked very tricky out there tonight. Obviously, quite low grip and a lot of lapping of cars, things like that. And that last stint for you, very, very, very close between all three of you there at the end.
Yeah, managed to. Well, it was sort of just pacing it out and just doing laps and logging laps, for the first start of the race, and then once I got behind Jace, the last 50-odd laps, we sort of, went full noise instead of mucking around sort of thing. And, we both went pretty hard there at the end. But, that was a good end to it.
No, I imagine you're pretty happy with that outcome, of course. I mean, it's another victory for the season. And this is only going to help you for the chase coming up as well.
Yeah, I haven't managed to get a win in it. In the Cup Series, as you guys know, I've had a terrible year, and I haven't actually won since Auto Club 200 when we were there. So, yes, but we're in the chase now, and things are starting to look up for us as a team and stuff. Starting to get some good results, and you're not going to finish on top of the ladder without at least 2 or 3 wins in this chase, in my opinion. So, just trying to get it done.
It's sometimes it's sometimes easy to forget. That you haven't had that much luck this season in the Cup. Obviously, as you said, last win being at Auto Club and stuff. Which, as I say, easy to forget because you're always up there fighting for those wins.
Yeah, you got to be consistent, but not only that, to get this championship done, you got to at least get a few wins in this chase. Teammate Jason Martin's, 14 points ahead already. So it's going to be tough, but we'll see what we can do.
But you can always hope to chase him down. But obviously, it's been a strong end to the year as well for the team. All 3 of you guys in the chase, I imagine that has made you quite happy.
Oh, very happy. I mean, we had all 3 of our cars last year as well, but for the season we've had and to have all our cars up there still in the top 5 coming in very happy with that. Very pleased.
Yeah, it's not been it wasn't the easiest start to the season for you guys, and I'm glad to see it's sort of gone better towards the end of the year. And you sort of got back there in your normal sort of strength and hard to beat places. So congratulations on that victory. It's good to see you back on the top of the step, and we wish you good luck for the rest of the chase. Obviously, we'll expect to see you up here in the booth again at some stage soon. But before I let you go, of course, anyone you'd like to give a shout out to tonight?
Yes, the other boys, Jason, Dan, for all the hard work they've been putting in. Both, myself and the truck, and then us 3 in this Cup Series. BK Designs for all their work Bob King's done for us for the paint schemes throughout the year and the retro schemes. Thanks, buddy, for everything you've done so far. Nexus Esports, team I race for in America. you boys putting on a hell of a stream as always. I usually watch them back, so it's always good to watch back. And if you guys haven't already followed me on Twitch, be sure to give me a follow on Twitch TV, twitch.tv/Mitchie31.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say that you're racing in the on the dirt tracks, aren't you, at the moment?
Yeah, I didn't stream tonight actually. I've sort of haven't been streaming the cup for the chase because it just get 110% concentration on this series at the end here. But yeah, streaming a fair bit of dirt on the weekends, so
Always good to see. Always good to watch as well. Always good to see you going around. So it's good to see the numbers going up as well. 218 followers now. So good job on that one, Joshy. So congratulations on that one. Good luck for the rest of the season. And I hope to see you back in the booth again soon.
Yeah, no worries. Hopefully we'll see you guys next week.
Hopefully so. See you, Josh.
See you, bud.
Josh Mickelmore there for Mitch Motorsport. A great finish there again, and good position for the end of that race for himself, getting that victory. As said, first one since Auto Club way back earlier on in the year. Jono, it was one heck of a race to come back to.
Yeah, it was. It was great race, especially right there at the end with Ed and all the other drivers.
It was less chaotic than I expected, which is a nice thing. Always nice when there's less cautions than you expect. We were expecting there to be a few more tonight, in all honesty, and drivers did very well out there tonight. All drivers did extremely well to avoid those incidents and managed to make it round without causing the cautions to come out. But yeah, brilliant job tonight, and just an absolutely stonking finish here at Bristol.
Yeah, an awesome finish, and all in all, like you said, a good race.
Indeed. So next up, we will be at the very high-speed tracks of Las Vegas. So a bit of a different track from Bristol, of course. Las Vegas on the 16th of September. So that will be next week, of course. We'll grab JP quickly about things that are coming up on the SimShed Broadcasting Network.
How you going there, fellas? So on the Broadcasting Network, yep, of course, every Monday night we've got the Club Day Masters, the MX5 series. Next week, next Tuesday, we kick off again with Season 3 of the Nationwide Tracking Systems V8 Evolution Championship. We're at Road America for a 28 lap race. So that should be really interesting. Of course, on Wednesday nights we always broadcast the repeat of the Split 2 race for the NTS V8 Evolution Series, and on Thursday nights, of course, the Abruzzi ANZCAR Cup.
Awesome. Thank you so much, JP. And of course, on the ANZCAR side of things, we have the truck season back up and running on Monday nights. If you feel like giving the ovals a go and having a try, be at Texas this time round for the next race on the 14th. So that's next Monday. And of course, we've finished the Grand National Series now. So that is all over, done and dusted. But we will be having a one-off nightly race on the Wednesday, and that will be on the in the street stocks at the Super Late Models at street stocks with fixed setup. There we go, on Nashville Fairgrounds. There we go. Finally got it out. So some fun races there as well. But yeah, if you do want to give the oval racing a go, we do really recommend giving the trucks a bit of a drive out, because it's a good way of learning and a good way of getting the experience for the season. So with that, we will start wrapping things up. So we thank everybody for joining us tonight. We wouldn't be able to make this without you guys following and watching us. So thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for Jono for coming back in the booth. It's been a long time, but I'm glad to have you back up here.
Thank you for having me, Carl.
And of course, big thank you to JP for doing all the work on the cameras and getting everything working after that little technical issue.
Always a pleasure to be broadcasting this series.
Thank you so much, and we will see you all again for the next round. Bye-bye.
and